trees and pine trees that I used to climb right where the In-N-Out Burger is, a block away.
Yeah.
Went to and probably got sort of semi-roughed up, beat up at Ray's school down the street.
That's where I went.
Yeah, it was tough. Got 40 swats the first year.
I just had one.
You only had one? I'm sorry, did you go there too?
No, I lived at
Welling.
Cove Street, C-O-V-E, Cove.
Which, I don't know.
That's
right
behind
behind
Ray-
the field.
It's
right
a-
behind Ray.
Oh, it is?
You
Okay.
threw
Yeah.
the balls at my pool.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
we
that
She
was
probably beat you up.
That's right, probably was. You know, all right, we got to talk after this. So the probably got my first driver's license. Well, for sure we did. Both Mike and I did got our first driver's licenses at the DMV right here, right?
What are you doing living in San
Me, I
Clemente?
think it was an old Dodge Dart that my dad gave me. Boy, I had some fun with that one. But go ahead. What?
What are you doing living in San Clemente?
Well,
No, I'm just kidding.
That's a woman's fault.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
We understand.
I understand. No more. You don't have to say anymore.
Yeah. I like it down there.
Yeah.
You know, we've
I
got
do too. I
Marines
like it.
break protecting our backside, so to
Yeah.
speak, from to get to the reason I'm here, what I think is overdevelopment. Out of my love for nature that I developed here in this town, right, climbing these trees, riding my bike for 30 years to the end of 19th Street, through Talbot, and down to the river mouth to surf.
Mhm.
You know, that developed an intense appreciation for nature for me all through the 60s and 70s. That was my orientation, and I learned that in the hills all around here, our great ocean. And so, over the past, let's say, 20 years, my frustration has been building with the density of development and the amount of development and the number of places in our region that are just have been covered up. And so it's out of that, that sort of sense of balance that I don't see that we have tilted far away from the balance. It's just a philosophical, so you know where I'm coming from, right? That sense of balance with the natural world, because I know its importance. Definitely, I live and breathe it as much as I can. So, I've almost been compelled. I had to start the organization that I'm calling the Nature Commission, and I hope to devote as much time as possible, if not all my time, to it. Because for me, it's a gigantic priority for our society, for this world, because I think this is mankind's challenge in the decades and to come, and perhaps the next couple of centuries, to come into balance with nature and not take too much more of it than we have already taken, because we've taken a lot all over the world, right? And so, in regards to Talbot, we have Fairview, which is under some pressure perhaps for ball fields out on the Fairview Mesa. We have then Talbot, which is a very organic, simple little place. It's the way it was when Mike and I rode our bikes through that area, right? Played ball, everything, mini bikes even, the era of mini bikes even. What hilarious little machines those things were. And so long ago, Talbot is a rare thing to sit like it does. Banning, if we by foresight and by making the right choices and forcing a good long deliberation on what we do in a stretch of open land, wild land that can be converted and left wild as something like a state park over the long run. With those three properties, Talbot, Fairview, and Banning combined, we have a gigantic asset for the community and for the region, and to use, a greater sense of responsibility for nature. Because the bigger a place is, the more contiguous it is, the larger the mass of a piece of nature, the more use it is for habitat, the more attractive it is, and the greater the benefit we as individuals get from that. to detach from everything. So along those lines, I filed comments on the EIR for the sewer line project, because I think that the destruction that it would cause, the manholes and everything, is just, they're unjustified. I think it would need a real emergency, sort of, I believe, a real hardcore need to justify this project. If you, can I advance it and so you can see a couple of photos?
Yeah,
You want the next slide?
Okay, next
Yeah.
slide. Yeah.
we gotta hurry this up though,
Okay,
because it's,
all right, sorry about that. So this is what we have, right, this little area is the section right where the pipeline, where the sewer line would go, near the Santa Ana River. This is looking back towards the end of 19th Street. You can go ahead and move to the next slide. All right, this is more of that, a little bit closer to 19th Street. And there is no way that this area will look like this, as dense as it is, after this kind of a project. I've seen what's happened with, I believe it was the Bitter Point project that was done near at the base of Banning. That significantly changed everything. Next slide. So I also believe, by virtue of some of our experience in dealing with issues related to Banning Ranch and contesting that development, that the Coastal Commission can and should, especially with some public support, ask for a real hardcore justification of this project. That seems to be what they do very, very frequently. I think that alternatives, on the idea of alternatives, Talbot shouldn't be touched. Unless we have an emergency with this sewer line, to back off and say, all right, let it be done on the streets, concurrent with some other project, right? Just wait. Especially if it is to serve, if it really is to serve in any way an increased density in the west side. Go ahead and next slide. So the local community. I attended the OC Parks meeting a little while ago. That was about a month and a half ago or so at the Costa Mesa Community Center. Most of the people who got up to speak, and the people sitting at my table, there were about 50 or 60 people there. I'm sitting in a group of about 6 or so, and they were just rabid about leaving the Talbot alone. Why were they expressing that? Because the OC Parks Department was getting input on what they might do out there, which we know will include a proposal for a parking lot just about exactly where this is. And again, it's another project that is perhaps with a good intention, but the effect on a place that is organic like this is wrong. Go ahead and, all right. So I've also spoken in regards to this with Chris Bunyan, who's a candidate for City Council. He is adamantly opposed to the project. I've spoken verbally with, and in fact I confirmed Chris's opinion on this as I was, just this afternoon before I came up here. Mr. Jay Humphrey, a council candidate, also feels that way. I don't want to, I'll just say that, that's up to him to make a hardcore statement, but I know he feels that way about Talbot Fairview because he is running partially on the platform of protecting Fairview from any further incursions. So I think that we could just really think about what we could do and use funds that might be used for this kind of project to somehow begin to generate larger mitigation funds, just as a creative idea, mitigation funds that we could use to somehow carve out more spaces like this to put towards, for instance, the purchase of Banning from the development interests. And that's, if we did that for over the long run, we are acting in the biggest interest, in the longest, the widest vision of long-term interests of the community that way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Sorry.
I invite you to meet with Scott and any clarification on this project. You know, I get a feeling you don't have a total understanding of what we're trying to do, because in our project, there's a lot of money, you know, for rehabilitation, or not rehabilitation,
Mitigation.
but mitigation
Right.
of this, and we're as concerned about that as you are.
Right. and
So, you know, we're on basically, we're not on different pages, but we have a job to do, and that's to get rid of pump stations that are now creating a footprint of, you know,
Where are those pump stations?
there's seven?
Six.
Well, there's 6 for us and 1 Newport
Six,
Beach,
right-
one
right.
county one.
And they're not all in the Talbot area, but I mean, they're around that general area. Yeah.
Okay. These are pump stations?
Yes.
The number-
Well, yeah,
Okay.
but they're.
I'll take a look at those. Oh, you got this one.
I think these are our 6.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
And there's 1 county one and there's 1 Newport Beach.
And, you
Got
know,
it.
they're using.
That's what the engineers at OC Sanitation said. It was
Right.
largely, the advantage was energy savings.
Exactly.
To avoid going up.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
polluting that area too, you know, to some degree. So, I mean, you got to consider those things.
Right.
And what we're doing is just going to use gravity for the sewer,
Right.
and try and you know, mitigate the impact on the area as best we can.
Right.
So,
Well, you know, I can tell you that most people think that this is for the development of the west side and Banning Ranch.
No,
we're not upgrading
not-
the size of it. We're not doing a
Zero,
damn.
not a zero?
No,
not
not
Okay.
at all.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'll
Has
correct
nothing-
any impressions.
it has nothing
on
to
that.
do with it. I mean, at least from our standpoint, it doesn't. We've been working on this for 10 years.
At least.
Yeah, but you know, I'm sorry. I don't know what the solution is.
Yeah.
You know, but I can tell you that Talbot is so important. If you
Yeah.
you know, if you go out there and walk that place,
I don't know that are there any of these in the Talbot Park
Well,
itself?
part of the line's gonna go through Talbot,
Yeah.
and that's where we're gonna have the mitigation.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
It's part of the line
Yeah.
that's gonna go through there.
Just that
got-
one,
got
that one area,
manholes
yeah.
and everything. I just, you know, I guess it's, if there was a solution, it would be creative solution time.
Yeah.
So to
But
speak.
let's,
That's the way we would
you
look
know,
at it.
you can sit down with our people and look at the specifics of it, and, you know, and then we can work on solutions, you know.
Okay.
Plus,
Okay.
I'd maybe invite him to come to the next meeting we have with Orange County Sand District.
Yeah,
Because they're
they're the lead
they're the
agency.
lead agency.
I understand that myself and another.
Yeah, I
gal.
was there, I'm
Oh,
on
you
that
were there?
board, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, nice boardroom they've got.
yeah.
You guys got to get it upgraded.
No, we're local guys.
Yeah, we're just little
Yeah, This is
guys.
good enough.
You know, this is good enough.
Is good
This is-
enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Okay.
coming, Kevin,
All right,
appreciate it,
gentlemen.
yeah.
We know what you're talking
ladies.
about.
Do ya?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, I've never heard of a parking lot from our end.
Good to see you,
I mean,
buddy.
that- We have no parking lot going in.
No,
Right.
it was that other, it was the,
Banning Ranch.
no, the park.
No, it was
Orange County
OC
Park.
Park. So
Oh, yeah.
in the
That's
name
it.
of access, in the name of access, a parking lot will go out there. You see, so what you do is you lose the fundamental, that organic, that's like just a kid's play thing. All of this destroys that feel. You know what I'm talking about, Mike?
Oh, yeah,
right?
I know.
And you
Yeah.
can't,
That's where I grew
you
up,
can't
right
do
there.
that,
I
right?
grew up at 19th and Arbor Street. I was always in that park.
Yeah, we all were out there, man.
Every day almost, every day.
So every day. So it's, you know, there's just too little left is the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is, but
Yeah.
we, you know, that we can't replace that. The sewer line could probably go somewhere else at some damage to either power or what have you, but Talbot can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
That would be my point, right?
Yeah.
So
I would say that we
it's a
invite
question
Kevin
of values.
to the
Yeah.
next meeting we have with Orange County Sanitation District. When we discuss it like twice a year. And they give us updates on what the progress
Yeah.
is.
OC Sand does?
And they meet
Yeah.
with us and
Yeah.
they talk about the whole.
Okay.
You may want to put your address down
or
here.
your phone.
I've got his
And-
email on
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it there.
And then we'll notify you.
Yeah, we
Okay.
definitely want to work with you.
Okay.
Make things happen. the
We'd
right
be,
way.
I'll be glad to get a couple people together and say, you know, all right, what could we do?
As long
I
as
don't
you,
know.
as long as you have an open mind,
Yeah, yeah.
You know, yeah,
so,
as much as possible. I don't know about that, huh?
okay.
Okay, Kevin.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, thanks so much. Good
Take
seeing you.
care.
Okay.
Thank you for what you do.
Okay.
Mike, good to see you.
Good to see you, buddy.
Take care.
Okay, consent calendar, are there any items on the consent calendar that would, any board member would like to pull?
I'll move for approval. Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. No public hearing. What, budget? Wait a minute.
That's part of the
That's
consent.
Paul, yeah, okay. General manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. Item number 10 is regarding expanding our shared services program with Orange County Sanitation District. As you know, this week is the first week that Denise Martinez, who's the is one of the senior human resources analysts at OCSD, began working for us here. She's still technically an OCSD employee, but she's providing that shared service with us of expert personnel, HR experience, as well as helping us with risk management. It's going well this week. Again, it's only the first week, but to piggyback on that shared services program, the cooperative agreement type of program with OCSD, I'm suggesting that we also look at having OCSD staff help us review plans when our district engineer Rob Hamer submits plans when he's the engineer of record for private development.
I think that's brilliant myself.
I've talked to their general manager,
Yeah.
Jim Herbert. He's all for it. He thinks this is a great idea. I've also reached out to Rob Thompson, because it would be his staff that would be providing this service to us. He hasn't got back to me, but the initial reaction, first of was this sounds like a good idea. So I wanted to bring this to the board's attention. If you don't have any objections, I will proceed. And if we come to an agreement with terms, we'll execute an agreement.
Would the terms be similar to what we've been paying?
Well, actually,
Less.
the cost will be less.
Less.
Oh, less.
Less. Yeah, right
Yeah,
now.
a lot less.
Yeah,
$50 an hour left.
Yeah.
we pay about $130 an hour, and it'll be about $83 fully
Yeah.
burdened.
That's great.
How does that, from a logistical standpoint, do we just get billed from OCSD for
Mhm.
the services, so there's no
Yes.
pension liability on our part? It all goes.
No, because
to
they're still an employee for the district.
Yeah.
We're just paying the straight rate, and so they're paying their.
Kind of like a subcontractor, 1099 type situation.
Well, there's no.
Actually, it wouldn't flow to the person, it goes to the district, so
Right.
there's no 1099,
Right.
because we're
Right.
Gotcha.
contracted
Yeah.
with another government agency.
Right.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I'd say, is everybody in agreement, go forward on that, yeah.
Sounds great.
Do we need a motion to do this, or?
No,
is it
it's
your
just
direction?
there's no. It's just for your information. So if I don't have any objection, I'll proceed.
Well, we have to change, isn't there a present policy with
It's a miracle.
employment of Bruce Matter?
There's a.
Resolution
There
or
might be a resolution.
there's something,
Oh,
But
it's
he's
okay.
codified, somewhere.
If he goes out the end of
I'll look at
December.
that. I'll bring that back. Today's really more information, so maybe the first step just needs some, make sure the board's okay, and then I proceed. So, great, thank you.
It does require the board to appoint, so that would be part of the act.
Yeah.
Check Rob's contract also. There might be language in there.
You mean Bruce's?
Well, no, both of yours.
Rob's contract wouldn't have anything to do with it.
I believe it would. In the explanation that you just gave, I think is in Rob's
It's in the
contract.
code. It's actually in the code.
Code?
Bruce
Okay.
indicates
But
he
you
doesn't
can
We'll
want.
take an
check, just
extra
to
2
check.
minutes.
Just to check, just to make
Three
sure.
point oh one oh four five.
It's in the code.
Bruce just indicates he doesn't want to go ahead and pay
Buy the
that
insurance.
money for the insurance.
I just want
Yeah,
every
but Bob has a
document
point.
to
He
be
Yeah.
the
just, he just
same.
wants to make sure it's
Yeah.
set.
Dot the i's,
That's
cross
smart,
the t's.
you know, just to look and make sure.
Okay, item 11.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This was a request by the board to amend the code that sets procedures for board members placing items on the agenda. Before you tonight is ordinance 101. It's just really a minor change, and basically this, if you approve the ordinance, what will happen is that under oral communications and director comments on your study session or your board agenda. Any board member can request an item be placed on a future agenda, and then based on a majority vote, that item be placed on a subsequent agenda.
Okay.
Just-
I need a motion.
Just, yeah,
Okay, I move approval of ordinance.
Second.
Question?
Number 101.
discussion?
If and I guess this is gonna go to Alan, if a board member says, I wanna put something on the agenda, because it's, the Brown Act says it's gotta be agendized already, I mean, does this give us the latitude to vote on something at a board meeting?
Yes, I think it does. I think you have to have some way to get it before you to have the vote. As long as you're not taking action, placing it on the agenda is not taking the action itself.
Okay.
But this question does come up, and I think it is appropriate. Otherwise, it could be the president and the manager establish the agenda, and this is just another way for somebody to put it on there. And some cities have 2 votes puts it on the agenda. So.
Okay, from a sense of transparency, this makes a lot of sense to me because the public is going to be at a meeting, they're going to hear the things that we want to do. I just want to make sure that we can take a vote on something that's not already on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can take a vote to place it on the agenda, but no
Perfect.
action will be taken otherwise.
got it, okay.
It was a good question, though.
Yeah, that's a good question. We have
Further discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Item 12.
Thank you, Mr. President. Wendy Davis, Finance Manager, will be giving this report.
Thank you. Attached is the quarterly budget versus actual report. Finance estimates there will be small savings in both funds as there was last year. It's really hard to project with so little data at this time, so we pretty much estimate everything is fully spent at this time. So it's just for your information at this point.
Any questions of Wendy?
No, just a comment. There's so little data. It always amazes me that you multiply the expenditures times 4 and it's half of that. So it must be that there's a lot of expenses come in.
Yeah.
You know expenses that are going to come in. It's almost,
Yeah, the majority of the district's expenditures are in salary, which are consistent, and so that's easily projected. But the rest of it is, we have a vendor, National Plant, that bills us once a year.
yeah.
They do the
So
work
that
all
comes
year
in,
long,
okay.
and so it's very skewed, it's
That's
hard to
amazing.
project. And
How could you do that?
I always
didn't
like
realize
just,
that.
I always like the answer. that
Is that right, Wendy?
what's been
Cash flow?
expended.
Yeah,
Wendy, is that
That's a
right?
great question.
They bill us once a year?
after they do the work?
Yep, they wait till the very end.
Are
and
you kidding me?
We ask them
How
all the
can
time
they-
to progress bill us, and they just will not.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
$126,000 last year, all in one
It's
payment.
one healthy cash flow company.
Wow.
Is that made out to one of the individuals at National Plant?
No,
I never knew that.
Yeah, that's weird.
it's the nature of it, some of the vendors are really good about, they're out there doing the work and handing the invoice to Steve or
Sure.
to Rob, and other vendors are just, you're calling, asking them.
Through self-preservation.
Yeah.
We got people that need to be paid.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Item 13?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Again, Wendy Davis will be giving this report.
This is the annual report of carryover encumbrance requests. Essentially, these are projects and purchase orders that we created a contract for the services or the money last year, and we're carrying it over into this year. It's essentially reappropriating the money. It's bringing the budget forward into this year to continue the project and to build the projects, or to finish out. Maybe we ordered some equipment and it wasn't delivered as of June 30th, so we need to carry that forward. So this is just an annual,
Just cleaning it up, huh?
yep,
Okay.
closing it up.
I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Strategic Plan Quarterly Progress Report. Scott?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is your first quarter report, and we're approaching our fifth year of our five-year strategic plan. So next year we'll have to do it all over again and look at adopt another five-year plan if you want to. But a couple notes I wanted to mention to you on the Parks report presented today. One is that regarding the inflow reduction goal under strategic element 1, we did, as you recall, a few months ago, we got maps from the city of Costa Mesa showing us where in the city the streets are prone for flooding, where they have historical flooding.
Yeah.
And in those maps, it shows not only where the streets are flooding, but where the manhole covers are located. And we saw some manhole covers in those flood zones, and so staff went out and plugged and sealed all those manhole covers, and that is complete. So we finished, and that was close to 100 manhole covers that they sealed and plugged.
Great.
The second item I want to bring to your attention is the permanent emergency equipment that we're installing. As you know, there's two that we're still working on, the generator over at Irvine, and then we're going to put a bypass pump over at 23rd Street. We want to do a little bit different direction for 23rd Street. Instead of putting a bypass pump, we want to put a generator in there, because what we're finding is that the bypass pumps that we installed at Victoria and specifically in Mendoza, it is requiring a lot of maintenance on our part. We are exercising the bypass pumps every 2 weeks. In fact, the power outage that occurred last Friday night, and I told you that the bypass pump at Victoria worked great. Well, the reason it worked great is because our staff was there Friday afternoon working on 4 hours, making sure it was working properly. And so if they weren't there, that pump probably would not have worked. What was happening, we were seeing some greases build up into the pump. And so they're working with, my staff is working with Rob trying to correct that. And I had a meeting with staff, and I said, okay, staff, if you prefer a generator or a bypass pump at 23rd, what is your preference? They all said generator. We want a generator there. It would just be easier maintenance. We see how well a generator is working at Canyon. So, and it'll probably save us a little money too. There's less piping we have to do. I think the equipment's not as expensive as a bypass pump. Rob's pretty much got everything underway. We just have to tweak it a little bit.
Logistically, it's the same space? Or?
Yes, yeah, I don't think there's too much change in the space, right? It's pretty much the same. So I want to bring that to your attention that we want to install a generator there instead of a bypass pump. It'll be less cost.
Is that the one that's set back?
Yes, yes.
And is that, we have to get approval, we already have approval for the city, right?
Not officially, we're still in plan review, and
What's the difference between bypass pump and a generator in terms of mechanically what
Rob answered my question.
A generator provides electricity, that's it. So, for instance,
Yeah, I mean, with what the problem is and how they would each fix the problem.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
so if the power goes out, a generator supplies power to the station. If there's a backup pump there, the backup pump is independent of the existing pumps. So if both pumps were to go out, not just from power, but malfunctions or something, the backup pump is completely independent of the primary pump. So it would go on automatically go on, and it would take the place of the pumping station. So it's a little more comprehensive in that it is electricity and a motor, but it's also a pump. So it's a little more comprehensive backup than a straight generator.
And by saying it's a bypass pump, it means, it doesn't necessarily mean it bypasses the line. It just is a backup. A backup is a better word for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Bypass
Okay.
is
I thought it was
right,
like
it's-
routing at a different,
yeah,
other than a line or something.
it's backup.
Okay.
We've used the term bypass.
Well, yes, we use the term bypass, and we also use the term standby. We shouldn't use either.
Thing on the
For this application, yeah. Well, one thing I would suggest, if you find greases building up, that clogs the pumps and the piping, is that staff take a different maintenance approach rather than cleaning the grease out. Maybe, just go out and shut the station off periodically, like every other day or something, and make that pump work more often. It depends on whether that's more time consuming than physically having the pump apart.
We had a meeting today, all the maintenance people at my office and I'll be sharing that conversation with Scott tomorrow. And we do have some ideas, and we're going to institute those immediately. So we have some ideas, probably 2 or 3. We're going to start step by step and work our way through those. So we think
Okay, well,
I have a
we
question.
had a little problem with Mendoza right off the bat, and we fixed that. So we're good with fixing these things. And
Mhm.
Eldon has not had any problems at all.
So one difference would be if your indulgence, Mr. President.
yeah, please.
If the pump went down because of lack of electricity, the generator comes on, but if the valve is stuck, that's not gonna fix that. Whereas the backup pump would fix
It
the
would
pump.
pump around it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that was my question. Can we get by with just the generator?
Well, if it's just a power outage, yes, but like as Rob said, we need
Yeah,
to,
if it goes down.
Normally, we do not have 2 pumps malfunctioning at the same time.
No, but we're not gonna put in the backup pump, right, because we're gonna go with
Right.
the generator.
Right.
Right,
So
so
is that the right way to go?
it should be fine.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of agencies interested. It's the generators. We thought of putting a bypass pump or a bypass pump there as a backup pump. Excuse me, as just another measure for us for maintenance purposes. So like there are times when we have to shut both pump stations down for maintenance, and therefore we had to bring a portable bypass pump. Well, now we have a permanent one. We don't have to do that there. Everything's already hooked up. The piping's there. You know, putting hose in the wet well. It's not simple, and that was the selling point for having these pumps. But we're just finding out it's quite a lot of maintenance or high maintenance.
So you would prefer to just go with the generator?
For the 23rd, yes. Yeah.
So what's mine?
Okay, are we,
I have
any,
a question.
oh, you had a question?
On 2.0, that Solid Waste Academy, and you couldn't get people interested.
Right.
As we move to a new strategic, or a revised, or updated strategic plan next year, I had some thoughts maybe of taking that Solid Waste Academy and taking it away from adults and make a Solid Waste Academy or a Solid Waste team with kids. I mean, the kids seem to want to get into this stuff. I mean, we saw these 2 ladies here, and they're dealing with kids every day that seem to be excited about throwing stuff away.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the Solid Waste Citizens Academy could be geared more towards high school,
Solid Waste Youth Academy.
something like that. Just a thought.
The green team at Davis Magnet.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
that's
the
kind of what
starting point.
got me
That'd be the
thinking about
starting
that. But if we could, do that, especially at the junior high and high school levels, I think we could do some stuff. Anyway, just a thought.
Yeah, yeah, we take note of that.
Yep.
Okay, anything else on that item?
Just, when we started strategic planning for next year, when would we be starting it? What time period?
I haven't really given much thought, but well, I guess
Would we do like January, February,
we
something
could.
like that?
It's early up to the board. The plan is from 2010 to 2015, so we could, in theory, do it at the end of 2015 and have it start in 2016.
Okay. I'm just curious what time you thought.
When did we do it last?
Wendy, did you have something to say?
We did it right when I came on board.
I was hoping that if there was any money associated with any of the strategic plans, that we would do it before we adopt the
Or,
budget.
the
Yeah,
budget.
Yeah,
That's
that's
about
what I was
right.
getting
Yeah.
at.
Oh, yeah, good call.
Well, we can talk about that at a study session, can't we? Okay, engineers report.
Thank you. Nothing special to report on project status report, unless there are any questions.
Any
I
questions?
like the bigger print, it's much better.
Did you skip the strategic plan update, or?
That's what we were just talking about.
Okay, I had another question there, President, if I could. On item 7.2 and 7.5, 7.2 is evaluate the district's, develop a long-term CIP. I believe, well, I'd like to see a schedule on that. I think we talked at the study session or the last board meeting that it was dependent on something, and I think it ought to be brought. I would like to see that sooner than later. We continue to say, you know, nothing to report this quarter. This strategic plan will be done and there'll be nothing to report this quarter. Maybe. And then 7.5 is to develop a reserve policy. I'd like to see a schedule on that so that it's done ahead of when the strategic plan is over. And there's an important reason for that, and that is in the Little Hoover Commission on Consolidation, there was a list of criteria, transparency. We've done a lot of that. But one of the things was have a reserve policy, and you make that available to board members, staff, and the public. I've been a big fan of having a reserve policy. That may be why it's in here, but this is almost 4.5 years later, or 4 years later, it's not done, because it doesn't have a deadline.
What's that number, Bob?
It's 7.5. Yeah, 7.5.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm sorry, can I ask for clarification? Because we have
Sure.
a couple different reserve policies. We have an operating reserve that
Yeah.
we
Yeah, that's what I was
based
gonna
on
say.
CIP, but in the asset management but I guess it is an informal policy. It's not actually written
We
anywhere.
actually have it in the
but
ordinance, don't we?
$5 million is our minimum.
Yes, we have
for-
about 5 different reserve policies, but there's nowhere where, they're all in different programs. There's no place that shows what the, there's a place that talks about the earthquake reserve, $1 million. There's a place that talks about the asset management reserve. There's a place, we take in money from developers or something that it's in a special fund that only can be used for certain things.
Fixture fees.
And then there's the, we have quite a lot of money in the trash reserve, which is now dedicated to the organics program. And those things, there are quite a lot of them.
So you'd like to see a summary sheet of all those?
Yeah.
Someplace, like maybe in the budget document, so annually we're updating it?
Some of it gets in the budget, but
But like in one place where it's all
Yeah.
together and updated?
Orange County Sand District has in their annual budget a reserve policy.
We have a very extensive one in chapter 4.03, reserves, operating reserves, long range, fiscal perspective, capital improvements. It goes on and on and on. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not
Well,
saying.
there's no summary
yeah,
of the
I'm
money.
agreeing with you, but we have one document
Yeah.
right here.
Well, maybe we can review that, and see if
Maybe a
it's,
study session or something. Just
And along the same lines as the long-range capital improvement program, we have some of that in here, but that's also in our sewer system management plan. Our capital assurance plan should all be consistent, because
Yeah.
that's what we do is maintain sewer lines.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
oh,
capacity insurance.
If it would be
That's
acceptable, we can create a document for the budget where
Yeah.
it identifies the policy, but also identifies the amount.
The
So it
numbers,
brings it all
yeah.
together, and
Yeah.
then it's updated every time the
yeah,
budget is
yeah,
updated.
I think that's what he's asking for.
With the amount,
Okay.
maybe a table with the amounts.
Sure, we could do that. That's
Yeah.
easily done. Thank you.
Just
Thank-
bringing it together.
Thank you.
That's what the intent of Mike putting that in there was.
Did I put that in there?
What you do now?
I wasn't on the board then, Bob.
Okay, item 16, National Plant Services Agreement.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. Staff report is self-explanatory. And the most important thing to understand is that this represents the first year of cleaning the entire sewer system on a yearly basis. Meaning, the past 2 years, we've done it in a 2-year cycle, and before that it was a 3-year cycle. So this represents shared services between National Plant Service and our crew to divide the footage so that the entire system is cleaned in a fiscal year. And there's savings associated with our crew doing cleaning. Our crew has already started for the 2014-15 year, and they're doing very well. And National Plant is ready to do their portion, subject to approval of addendum number 4. And this is the 4th addendum of a 5-year contract, so this represents the end of the 5-year contract with National Plant.
So next year, would we go out for an RFP on it?
Yes.
Okay. Art?
Rob, why they're cleaning the line, do they give you reports on how the line looks compared to
Yes.
what's the consensus?
Well, at this point, National Plant's not cleaning yet.
No, I'm talking about our crew.
Yes, our crew, they have already given us additional manholes that need work in terms of the surface. So we've based on their cleaning, we've identified 9 manholes that we're gonna work on immediately. They also see the inside of the manhole because they have to open it up to put the hose in. So we get feedback from that as well. And if they bring back broken pipe or dirt, they immediately let us know. We haven't seen that, but that's another way they are in tune with what they're seeing.
And, Mr. President, if we can memorialize what they do in a document, that would be golden for defense of liability lawsuits and constructive notice and all that, like that recent San Diego case that I gave you guys notice about. It really is helpful to have somebody inspecting as part of their regular duties like that. That will give us a defense if somebody gets hurt, and we can show that we did have a reasonable inspection program and it wasn't readily apparent at the time. And, you know, we're not responsible for every banana peel that's left on the ground.
How do we memorialize that?
In some kind of a policy or a standard operating procedure or MOU.
I don't think we don't have a sewer cleaning standard operating
It
policy.
would be a pretty easy thing to do, and it might be worth a whole bunch of money someday.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Bob?
Well, in that vein, do we require them to CCTV a certain portion of their
Yes,
cleaning effort?
yes.
And how does staff feel? Does staff clean behind them the next year?
Not necessarily.
And when staff is clean behind them, did they believe National Plant Services did a credible job?
Good question.
Okay, we have 3 questions.
Compound.
Tripart question.
The first one was, do they have to TV when they're done? The answer is yes.
A portion.
They have to 1%.
1%, okay.
And we determine what areas they're gonna TV, and then we look at the tape, and we see. Then the second question was, do we switch lines every year? And the answer is not necessarily. We usually have our crew do ones where we know there's roots, and because our crew can go slower, and root cutting is actually a different thing than maintenance cleaning.
Right.
So we try to have our crew do the areas where we know we have roots, etc. The third question was, what was it?
National plan.
When the crew,
What kind of a job did they do?
when the crew cleans
Oh.
behind them, do they feel like they did a good job?
You have 2 forces at work here. You have a private contractor doing a different kind of a job than our crew is
Hydrojetting,
doing.
yeah,
Our
okay.
crew is going after roots
Okay.
while they're cleaning, whereas maintenance cleaning is not root cutting. But if they do run into roots, they do let us know.
Okay.
So we try to take care of everything as best we can.
The old saying, along what Alan was saying, is you get what you inspect, not what you expect. And when I was in charge of the collection system at Orange County Sand District, Nick Arantes was not happy with the private cleaning that he was getting, and so we did implement an inspection program, and I thought it was more like 10%, but I don't remember.
It's typically 1%.
Some percent.
I would like to say that the part private and part public sewer cleaning program, I believe is excellent, because we can have our crews slow down and do a very thorough job where it needs to be done,
Mhm.
and rather than someone who needs a certain amount of footage to stay ahead of the game.
Right.
Art?
I have one more question. Back up to like Alan's question to you. When National Plant does their work, do they give us like monthly reports or weekly reports to let us know that we can keep on file that we've done the job? And
Yes, we issue work orders to them, and they issue completed reports back to either our staff or our consultant EEC, and the whole program is tracked.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments?
Do we
So
need
you
it?
do have a recommendation to take
I
action.
move approval of item
I'll
16.
second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries. Sorry? Treasurer's report?
Thanks, Mr. President, board members. This is your quarterly review of the monthly treasurer's report. So for September of this year, the portfolio was earning, as of September 30th, 0.867%. That brings us up year-to-date, July through September, to 0.818%. The duration of the portfolio, we're invested out about 2.25 years right now. And going really to the question on reserves just a little bit earlier, on the treasurer's report, yet another location that reserves are. You, Director Eaton, had asked about a year ago for cash reserves to be disclosed, and they're all listed on page 1 of the treasurer's report. So that's another place that you've got those as well. They don't explain what they are, but they're all listed. This quarter is the beginning of our dry period, where we don't have any cash coming in, so there's zero investing activity. It's just all cash going out at this point. We'll resume investing activity when we get to the first annual charge starts coming in the late November, early December timeframe. With that, I'm available for any questions you may have on this.
Any questions of Mark?
How far will that go down from now until we start getting money back in from the county?
From July through November, we estimate about $3.9 million that will have cash going out between the liquid waste and the solid waste.
Have we been getting back monies from the county from people that didn't pay their property taxes? You know, we get some every year for that.
Yes,
We always get our money, it just takes a while.
it does.
Yes, we do get a piece of the interest and a piece of the penalty.
Thank you.
I'm sure that will change at some point.
Probably.
Thank you, Mark.
Mr. President, when the, that's, I remember how Fitzpatrick addressed me. Wendy, when, you might want to talk to Mark, on page 1, there is a good summary. But some of the titles, like undesignated solid waste fund, there's quite a lot of money there. It might be that we could work on
Nomenclature.
nomenclature, yeah.
Mhm.
Because I don't think the public, and I don't understand it. I like it. So maybe when we have that discussion, we can integrate, as we integrate these various kinds of funds.
For
Okay.
the budget document, we could have a more friendly
Yeah.
verbiage.
Yeah.
But for some of the other documents, we're required by fundamental accounting standards to
Okay.
use standardized terminology. And so we'll try and, where we can,
Yeah.
go with a
Okay.
more friendly, kinder, gentler name.
I mean, you have access to Mark, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move along. Local meetings, Orange County Sand District. Obviously, they approved the Human Resources Manager, interim Human Resources Manager to move over here to help us out. I think that's really healthy, and I'm anxious to see how that works out. The only other thing, it was a real short meeting. We did authorize a contract to Security Services for Plant 1 and 2. We added $388,000 to our contract, and for a total of $772,000. And we expanded our security effort on our campus. We also, I'm on the groundwater replenishment board of directors, and we gave them a presentation and asked them to consider participating with us on a security, a more thorough security approach to both campuses, because we don't have a fence between their campus and our campus right now, and they don't have their gate manned at all. I mean, there's a lot of security issues, and if ever a terrorist had the inclination, he could get in there and tear up the groundwater replenishment, which you've heard me say this before, it could foul the wells that protect us, and there's.
They're going to move forward?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they're in full. They were very much in favor of it, and so we're going to have a joint meeting and
Is the
get
one
a
at
couple
the
bids.
Sand District, is that manned 24 hours?
Yes.
But the one at the Water District is not?
There's
No.
never anybody. I always wondered about, all they have to do is go up around the corner and go in the back.
Yeah, and they're going to have an armed one at night.
That's smart.
So
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Jim, President Fairman brought up that question and that delayed action on the,
Right.
until the Orange County Water District gave their concurrence.
uh-huh.
Otherwise, it
Well,
would.
you think about it, and if you're a terrorist, if you really gave it some thought, what could really hurt a community? Water. I mean, if they blow that out, Orange County is in trouble. And
Well,
any
not just
just Orange County, but
No, I was going to say not just terrorism. Lucy Jones was on the TV yesterday morning
Yeah.
talking about if they have a major earthquake, it's going to affect we're in deep
yeah.
trouble.
Yeah.
So all that, if they really thought, I agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's necessary.
So at any rate, that's on the thing. Let's move along. Santa Ana River Flood Control, we didn't.
No meeting
Yeah.
this today. It'll be next quarter.
ISDOC.
Executive committee meeting on the 7th. Bill Nelson from the CSDA board gave a pretty lengthy, he always gives a pretty lengthy report, talking about the Academy in Anaheim coming up. I talked a little bit about the conference the end of last month. He's always comprehensive, and that was it. John Withers talked a little bit about LAFCO and about a South County study and that they're undertaking. We talked about future speakers. We're going through a whole list of speakers, and oddly enough, the speaker I keep pushing for and they keep passing her over is Lucy Jones. She's on our short list. They keep wanting to get people like John Morlock and Pat Bates. Well, we've heard them before.
Mm-hmm.
And probably will continue to hear from them. So, and I can report to you that the election of officers for ISDOC was completed on October 17th. The ballots have been counted, and yours truly has been elected the president-elect.
All right.
Hey.
Congratulations, Mike. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you going to run the meeting on is that the 30th?
I will be in Sacramento for SDRMA on
Really?
the 30th. Yeah. So they'll announce my whatever.
They just have a life-size picture. They can hold up.
It's a rather large picture. Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations. That's great. CSDA.
Do I get to say something? Oh, okay. I never know. CSDA, you might want to write down some dates. Of course, you know the Leadership Academy is November 16th to the 19th. And there is a board secretary clerk conference, and that's February 12th and 13th in San Diego. And SDRMA is having a Safety Claim Education Day on March 24th, 2015 in Sacramento.
Let me tag on that one real quick.
Okay,
That single day, and Scott, I'd like you to take a look at that, because that single day conference, if you have someone in the district that's kind of handling safety and the claims, it may be worthwhile sending some of that conference for one day is really, really good.
Okay.
I'll be in attendance, of course, for STRMA, but I just wanted you to put that on your radar.
Yeah, thank you.
okay.
Who would represent our district on that? Just for curiosity. Yeah.
Don't know right now.
Well, you know, they have to look at the the abstract when it comes out.
I may get that this next week when I'm up there.
One comment on the November conference. They sent a thing to me that they reduced the price of that conference. Was that, what was the
Yes,
reason?
$200.
What was the reason for them reducing it? Did somebody complain about that?
I don't know.
No, it was to get more people to attend.
Oh, okay. Was that what it was?
Yeah, and I let Nolani know
So
about
you,
that.
you have everything.
She'll be getting a
Okay,
credit
yeah, I got it
to the
too.
Connecticut.
November?
Nice.
It's November 16th to the
The
19th.
leadership one.
The one in Anaheim.
I think I'll be out of town. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is
definitely
this
out of
one.
town.
Yeah, me
I'll be
too.
in Nashville.
I wanted to go, but I
There's some
can't.
good stuff. I've
Yeah, there
I've
is.
already circled some stuff that I'm
There's
gonna
Yeah.
something good every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, very
Mr.
good.
President?
Okay,
Yes,
If there isn't any other legal business, may I be excused? I have a function with
absolutely. Thank you, Alan.
thank you.
Have a nice weekend.
Thank you.
Let me know if
You
you
also.
can't get out. I'm right
Oh,
behind.
yeah, okay.
Can I just, before Ellen
I
leaves,
think you can do it.
you know, the planned Christmas party is at December 11th?
Yes,
Is the district having their day off the Monday, the 10th? Because that's the 11th is a national holiday, but people celebrate it on the 10th. It's
no,
like that.
no, you're thinking
You're
of,
thinking of
December.
November.
November.
Veterans Day.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
December. You're right,
Yeah,
sorry.
well, okay.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor Day's not a
Yeah.
You
national
don't have to
holiday.
do it.
No, never mind.
So everybody, everybody
Yeah,
does
December
know
11th.
about the
That's
Christmas
not the
party,
Chinese.
right?
Yeah,
Chinese,
yeah.
Mhm.
I think we're going to be having invitations go
Yes,
out.
we will.
Good to get it on the calendar, though.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not done.
No, I know, I was gonna say,
Thank you.
would you please finish?
Okay. Like, shut up. Okay,
me to
special
give you a
districts
flashlight?
legislation days is May 19th to the 20th. And so you might want to write that down.
Is that the
Up
one
in
in
Sacramento, that's the one.
I'd have to look at the agenda.
Yeah, I'm not doing
I
that
wasn't
anymore.
allowed.
That's a waste of time.
It was
Yeah,
last year.
I'm not doing that
It
anymore.
has to be something that I'd be interested in for me to go.
Well, I have to go.
Nobody will even meet with us, let alone.
Well, you never know, there'll be new
We'll have a
blood.
new Zimmerman, so it might be
There'll be
worth-
different.
yeah.
Maybe, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, we'll have to see what develops.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
sure Keith will want to meet with.
Then there's
Yeah.
the General Manager Leadership Summit in Newport Beach, July 12th and 14th. That's 2015.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
okay.
So you can drive down
Yeah.
there that far. CSDA's annual conference and exhibitors showcase is in Monterey, September 21st to the 24th.
Okay, we voted that,
2015.
we'll probably have to switch our
And
meeting,
then
or meeting date, because that's usually that Thursday.
What day is that?
September 21st to the 24th. And I don't know, it's in 2015. I don't have a
Yeah, but it'll
calendar.
probably be, the week that we have our board meeting.
Mhm, I
It
don't
is,
know.
it is the week of the board meeting.
And then I will be flying up to CSDA for a board meeting, 13th, 14th of November. So, but it doesn't fall on anything, it's gonna work us. Also, oh, that's it for
Did you-
now.
Did you want to talk about the conference in Palm Springs as part of the CSDA? Or did we already do that last meeting?
I think we did last meeting, yeah. I didn't, it's my turn yet? No?
Well, we still, anybody have any other meetings that they want to report on?
Oh, yeah. So, ISDOC, Mike pretty much said the way it is, which is exciting. And Carol from LAFCO will be our speaker on the 30th
Okay.
for ISDOC luncheon. And Waco meeting was not too eventual. It was
It's
fine.
on October 3rd.
And then this, I'm talking about right here.
She's
I
doing
know
Sep-
that's what I'm talking about.
She's
October
doing
3rd.
September.
Yeah. I was doing September.
That's the last month.
Yeah, I'm always a month behind.
Okay, well.
Is everyone else
We're,
right on
we're
the
usually
we're-
doing,
schedule?
Yeah.
we're usually doing the month we're in.
Month we're
See, I was
reporting on.
going to, but then I didn't do this one, so if
Snap-
you have this one.
Snap out of it, Marlene, come on.
Okay, so anyway, the liaison meeting, I had that for the city water and us, and we hosted it. Costa Mesa Chamber Breakfast, did that one, and the public hearing. This is all September, I'm sorry.
Go ahead and do October while you're at it.
I don't have it, I
Go.
gave it to her. And CSDA is the conference that we had, and that was a good one in Palm Springs. And see, I have that on there now, and yet we reported on it last time. And that was an excellent one, that was the most people we've ever had, 600 people.
Yeah, it was very well
It
attended.
was just good in every fashion. I mean, I emailed them, all the different departments, and told them how it was just great. So, brought a lot to the table.
Good facility. Typically
Yeah.
good out.
Everything just smooth.
Mhm.
And then just throw in on the Christmas party right now, we're talking about having Ed Fawcett.
Yeah, that's on our agenda still. That's,
Okay.
it's still on our agenda
Is it
coming
still
up.
on here?
What about Tom Brennan?
I was going to talk about Tom, because Tom leaves the end of this month, like in another week.
Tom's leaving?
Tom
Yeah,
Brennan.
he's retiring.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've, you know, he,
Does he live in Costa Mesa or close by?
Well, Ed doesn't live in Costa Mesa either,
Tom doesn't live in Costa.
but he's contributed to the
Oh,
success
yeah,
of the
yeah.
city.
So I didn't know what you wanted
yeah,
to
we
do.
don't have to, I
We can-
just,
We can talk about that when we get, that's on our agenda tonight.
Okay, okay.
Did you want to talk about the Waco meeting on the 3rd?
No,
Okay. You were
I
gonna
just-
wait?
I've got it, if you want it.
No, I mean, I got two. We were
Oh,
there.
okay.
We were there just thought.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
It was mostly about the water policy and the
Right.
update of the drought.
right.
And Catherine Cole was the
Mhm.
main speaker. You there, Mike?
No.
Just you and I and
Just
I
us.
think Bob was
No, I
there.
wasn't
Just
there.
you
No,
and I.
I was
just
in
you and I.
Texas.
So we could say anything
And
we
the
want.
capacity of the reservoirs in California is only 36%, which is really low, and we're really worried about it. And they talked about the Proposition 1, which has got the majority of support, I think, in California for it to pass, which is good. And it's like $7.1 billion.
Wow.
I think it's going to pass 1 and 2. And the snowpack is down to 15% of what it was
Yeah.
a
No,
couple
it's-
years ago,
it's
like a
bad.
year ago. And then, they talked about the water bond, $7.54 billion.
I could get my.
She did a real
notes.
good job speaking about it.
She did.
Yeah, normally,
She
but.
did.
Okay. We can add more to it next month when you talk about it
Yeah.
too.
You know, October 3rd, I was at the State Farm National Convention in Las Vegas.
Right, right.
And I'm happy to report I didn't see Diana going up and down the strip, so she must be doing whatever. I didn't see her anyway, so she must be doing okay.
Was that conference pretty good?
Ours?
Yeah.
Nah.
Were you walking the street?
Bon Jovi was not allowed to sing his own songs.
Really?
okay, other meetings? That's it. Old business? New business, consider adopting a proclamation for Ed Fawcett, President, CEO of Costa Mesa Chamber. I'm in favor of that.
Have we told him about this yet?
Yes,
Okay, and you give him the date already?
yes.
Okay.
To save it,
We'll save that date.
We're gonna do it at the Christmas.
the 11th.
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah, we'll do it at the
Or we
Christmas
do
party.
it, or we're
This
gonna do it
is-
at a board meeting.
Wouldn't
No,
we
the
do it at
Christmas
the
party.
chamber breakfast so that everybody could?
If you
See?
adopt
I don't know if they have a
board
meeting in
and then you
December.
present it to.
No, they don't have a
to,
meeting in December.
At
They're
the
done.
holiday.
At the holiday,
Yeah,
our Christmas dinner, we invite him to come,
Yeah.
and we give the proclamation.
He's actually not gonna leave until January or February, I
Yeah.
think. So we could go to a breakfast or a board meeting,
Yeah, he's
Chamber
gonna
meeting.
or
train
chamber meeting.
people, whoever it is.
But we can do it at the Christmas thing too, have
And
it
just
framed.
so-
and-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just so that you know, November and December's dark.
That's
for
what,
the
that's why I
chamber.
said they're
Yeah.
dark, so
yeah.
we do it on December 11th. And we're gonna split his cost. And if he has we're each gonna throw in, what's the cost of it?
$35
I
and,
don't know yet. John's been on vacation, so we last time paid 25 all inclusive.
Right.
oh,
So this is what I'm going for.
That's cheap.
With this guy, but I don't know yet.
Okay.
He just gets back tomorrow, so
But we
we'll
would
see.
pick up the cost of Ed and if he has someone coming with him.
Yeah, I don't think he will. But also, we'll just have it on I'll do a program like for you to speak introducing people, and then
Yeah.
also Scott will be on it for awards like you like to get out, and then Ed could be on that at the same time.
Who's playing Santa Claus this year?
You like you always do. Have you been working on your end, Scott, about the awards with the staff?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Do you give
I
the
should
word for
have
the-
known better than to ask that
Yeah,
question.
that was like
I don't know.
loaded.
You know, I mean, he's been there 15 years.
Do they have a replacement?
Who?
Tom, yes, Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle is the
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, if you guys don't want to do that, that's fine. I just thought,
But
you
I
know,
mean,
he,
Ed is something else, because he's
Yeah.
been there for, what, 32 years or something?
Nothing.
no, 24 or 25, I
Oh,
think,
yeah, that's
yeah.
what I want.
Okay, let's move along. New business, we already did that. Oral reports, or oral communications, and director comments. The only thing I would say is, and I know some of you know, Blake Anderson was the former general manager of the Orange County Sanitation District. He passed away kind of very quickly and unexpectedly about a couple of weeks ago. And they're going to have a November 8th, they're going to have a function for him to celebrate his life. But he was, as I said, I spoke last night at the Orange County Sand Board a little bit about him, and he was really a prime mover in the full secondary effort as well as the groundwater replenishment. I mean, he was kind of the father, one of the fathers of it, really. So he contributed a lot to that agency, and he was a good man on top of it, you know, so. Anyway, with that, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for your participation.
I appreciate you letting me talk about him last night.
Well, you know, I thought you could add some of that color, and you did. Yeah, you did a good job, Bob.